Okay, here we go. Thank you for letting me know on the previous live that I just attempted at about 10 minutes ago that my audio was not working. Again, this is the first time I'm using OBS to stream live for YouTube, so I appreciate your support in that. Had no clue that my audio wasn't working the entire 10 minutes that I was into this. Anyhow, hi there! Nice to have you Shutterbugs peek in. You may or may not have noticed that I went on a bit of a hiatus these last few months. I haven't posted anything since I think October, so I'm pleasantly surprised to see that my subscribers have actually grown. So those that have been, subscribed previously and not unsubscribed, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate you. And those that have, joined and subscribed on my hiatus, welcome. Pleased to have you as part of my channel. Thank you so much for your support. Coming up on the holidays this last year hit me harder than I thought it would. Not to get too deep into it, but of course, if you've explored my channel a little bit, you may have noticed that my brother passed away last year. Perfect. Thank you, Shortcut Reviews. You're the one that helped me with the audio and correcting that. Glad that we get that fixed. Thank you so much. Anyhow, yeah, my brother passed away earlier last year, and they say that the first year when those holidays hit, it does hit you pretty hard, and I was going pretty good, and then it hit me like a brick wall. So it just, the grief really took a toll, and I just lost all motivation, which is kind of a bummer because I enjoy doing YouTube so much. So getting back into it, wanted to kind of fill you guys in on the stuff that I haven't been able to do these last few months, kind of where I am now, what the future of Shutterbug 101 is going to look like, and I have some exciting developments that I definitely want to introduce to you guys. There will be another live that I do sometime soon going over the hundreds of comments and questions that I received while I was on hiatus, so stick around for those, and I will be answering those soon. But of course, while I'm doing this video, I'm just going to edit one of my just the samples videos. I want to make it very clear that I am not a Adobe Premiere Pro by any means. If anything, I'm probably beginner intermediate. I definitely am much more familiar with Lightroom and Photoshop because I'm definitely much more of a photographer. But I know what I like, I know what I want, and so I've kind of self-taught myself on how to accomplish, how to put these videos together so they are watchable, the audio is okay now, and I've definitely adjusted over time, listening to comments from you guys of, hey, the music's kind of annoying, so I changed the music out, I lowered the volume, and just kind of going from there. So I've definitely changed Premiere Pro around to how I want it. So I'm just gonna kind of show you the just the samples videos are the easiest videos to put together for my channel. So I thought I'd just kind of go over this, and for those that don't know Premiere Pro, this might be a little bit, I would say, encouraging. That, hey, if you really wanted to get into it, it's totally possible. Those that know Premiere Pro inside and out, and you probably know more than me, please don't be too harsh. I'm just kind of going off my self-taught. Hey, if there's a easier way to accomplish some of the things I'm doing, put it in the comments below. I'd love to learn more from you guys as well. So with the just the samples videos, I'll usually take, of course, just a shot of the camera to introduce what the video is. So I don't need any sound with these because we're really just going over the quality of the video and the photos. So I am going to unlink the audio and the video. delete the audio, and I'm gonna find a clip here that I'm happy with, which it does seem that right about there. Use my razor tool, cut that, kind of find where I want it to end. Probably like right there. And then I'm gonna delete the rest. So yeah, so I have footage that I've been sitting on that I just needed to edit. There was another Just the Samples video that I did edit a few weeks ago just to see about motivating myself to get back into this. And so that is probably the next thing that you guys will see posted. I'm going to try and get back to posting on a regular basis. It was to where I was doing a post like every Wednesday, I think it was. And I just kind of fell off that bandwagon. So I have to get back into it. I plan on doing, for my next thorough video of not like a cheat where it's just the samples or a vlog. I consider more of those extras. I definitely want to kind of give you an even amount of those along with like straight education from the camera itself. So the next one I'm going to actually be working on will actually be using OBS because I'm going to tap into some of my older videos that I've done and go through the menu systems. So I'm actually, because I'm working on Nikon now, it'll actually be going over the Nikon camera menus. I'll bring up the DSLR menus, probably from the D850, and then from the Z menus as well, and going over each and every little thing in detail, because there have been people that have gone, why are you going through the menu so fast? And it's because those walkthrough videos are just they're to help you get started. No sense in overcomplicating those menus when those are the most frustrating things to go through to make you want to put down that camera. So the walkthroughs are just to get you started. For those that want full understanding of everything in those menus, that's what this video coming up is going to be for. And I gotta tell you, I'll try to make it entertaining, but those menus are just not fun to go through. So, but you'll be seeing some of those come up. I am going to be working on more camera walkthroughs now that there have been more up and coming and available to us. Some I know that you guys will be wanting to see. That I want to adjust next. That. Let's get that in the center. Perfect. Don't need anything fancy there, except I do need to make sure it's more than one sample. So just the samples, Nikon ZFC. With this camera, I did go and do a walk through San Francisco with this camera to get these samples. I will say that at the moment, for where I work, we typically do like workshops and walks through San Francisco from the pier to Coit Tower or the Golden Gate Bridge. And I will say for anybody that is not in the immediate vicinity of the Bay Area or is planning to come and visit California anytime soon, San Francisco right now is probably not the safest place to be. We've actually pulled all of our walks and everything from that area because of there being such a rise in violence, unfortunately. It's very scary, specifically for photographers. There have been some stories about people just being robbed for their gear while they're out there, like in the middle of a wedding at Palace of Fine Arts. Like, who does that? It's great to go and take pictures in San Francisco, but there are other things in California. Like, I would try and deter yourself from San Francisco, at least at this time. San Francisco has a famous history of having its ups and downs. So, at least for now, we don't think it's a risk, or we don't think it's worth the risk, I should say. So I like to do kind of a fade in and fade out of my videos, which of course is the dip to black under dissolve. It has this nice thing here, but it's a little shaky. A little bit shakier than I would like it. I just got myself a gimbal, which I am thrilled about, so you'll see less of these close shaky shots than I've used in the past, which will be good. The warp stabilizer has been an awesome tool, by the way, when it comes to Premiere Pro. So it helps give a little bit more stabilization to the video by cropping in a little bit. So just to give you guys kind of a sample of how well that works. And sometimes it's like it's a total fluke. It's like, okay, it's not worth doing it. But here, I believe it should do pretty well. So doing that. Oh, look how smooth that is now. It's like it's on a gimbal. And it didn't crop out too much. It's giving me the exact information that I need, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna go from that. We're gonna jump right into videos and photos. The way that I organize my stuff here is, well, it doesn't look very organized, but I like to find the first video clip, go off of that, and then find the ones that maybe I didn't get videos clips for. So like this one here would be most complementary to this photo here. And then I would kind of plug all these ones in before going to the next video. So we're going to dial in this video first. Again, I don't need any audio because I'm going to be putting just background music to it. I will say that while I have been on hiatus for I'll like cut that like right there. For the last few months, I have continued to do what I don't really advertise on here is I do in-person or Zoom or Skype tutorials. So while these walkthroughs are going on, I actually either meet with people locally and I help go over their cameras on a one-on-one basis so they can ask questions, they can practice what I'm talking about, and of course everybody has a different way of learning. So for one person, I could go through all of their manual modes, all of their settings, and they'll meet me again in a few months to kind of nitpick on things that they're still not getting. Or I have the slower learner that likes to have assignments, which would be essentially, let's go over the aperture mode. This is what the aperture mode does. Okay, let's go practice with it. If you still need time to work on it, that's your assignment. I want you to do these things with your aperture mode, and then the next time we meet, we'll go over that. Great, then we're going to go into shutter speed mode. So it really just depends on the person and their way of learning, but I am happy to help with those things. So what I've decided to do, because someone actually reached out to me on YouTube and wanted to go over their new camera with their son, because they bought their son a Panasonic FC300, or it was either an FC300 and FC80. It may have been the FC80, but it was fantastic. His son was 12 and really wanted to get into photography. I mean, there's no age where you can't get into photography. Like 12 is an excellent age to try and play with those. And we actually went over, first we did a beginner photography class, which I have one made specifically just to go over general photography. And then of course there's the option of doing the walkthrough of your specific camera step by step until you get it. So like I won't move on until you understand what the last thing that I went through, which is really good. And I decided, well, if you guys would find that helpful, because I know that you guys have a lot of questions, I was thinking about going ahead and promoting that here on the channel. So My email is linked in the about portion of my page. So while you guys might find my videos helpful, maybe you need a little bit more one-on-one assistance. Maybe you want to actually have a conversation versus just me telling you what to do through the walkthrough. Please let me know. You can go ahead and email me and we'll schedule something up. I definitely, that's one of the big things that I really want to start promoting with YouTube is some one-on-one assistance as an option. So if you guys think that's a good idea, spread the word. Let me know how I can help you out, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I think that'll be an excellent opportunity to just kind of help provide more knowledge, and you know, I can have a farther reach too, which will be really good. While I don't mind helping people in person, I almost prefer to do it online these days. And I've helped with everything. Like think even beyond cameras. I've helped people, like, I don't know about you, but if you have an Apple computer and you can't even see the blue of your desktop, there's a problem. Backup hard drives to purchase, how to organize their files, the way that I actually organize my files beyond just this. So if I go to YouTube, you can see that I actually have everything separated through episodes, all the way back to episode 1, my intro. That was years ago. And yeah, and I have everything here, including some of my, and then I'll typically break it into like edit or original or whatever. And it's the same way for even like my personal photos, like my family photos. I'll break it into family, friends, location, year, anything like that, so it's easy to find. Think of it as that big tote of physical photographs that I know all of us have in our homes or maybe our parents' homes from years past, right? Now, all of a sudden, our computers or our iClouds or all of those, now we suddenly have thousands upon thousands of images that we don't even know what to do with. So if you need help organizing as well, I do that too. And I also help learn, I will assist in learning Lightroom. I'll assist in learning Photoshop, how to accomplish certain things on your photographs. If you just like, oh my gosh, I just really need help with this thing here, I love to help with those things. So if you have something like that in your life that you're like, hey, I really love some help with this and I don't know where to go, then you know where to go now. This is the ferry building. Trying to kind of find the right way of recording that. So we're just going to clip the good part. Right about there. It doesn't need to be a very long clip, just long enough for you guys to see the video quality of the camera versus the photo. You may notice that these pictures I've had to right click on and go scale to frame because it'll automatically try and set it to the ratio of the photo, and sometimes depending on what the ratio is that I have it set on, it'll crop in like a ton, and I don't want it to do that. So like this vertical photo here, it's going to automatically zoom in, but I want you guys to see the whole photo, so scale to frame size. Now you're seeing the whole photo. Can't remember if I've shortened these in the past. Just kind of let them play through. I think I just let them play through. You can shorten them depending on what I know that like for slideshows that I've done for events, I've definitely shortened the amount of time a photo is up. But I think when you're trying to admire it for its quality and you're kind of looking at all the different aspects of the photo, including the settings that I'm going to include last, it's good to have it up for just a little bit more. And you know what? I almost find them relaxing these days because of the music that I put behind. It's just something you can kind of throw on your TV and cool photos of the city, where it doesn't look like a trash heap. And my apologies for anybody that lives in San Francisco. San Francisco always has a special place in my heart, but lately it's just not at the peak of where it needs to be, unfortunately. So, for when I did this, I actually went with one of my works groups, and I took advantage of the time and took a camera and decided to get some sample photos. So I'm choosing not to include photos of the people on the walk or even the people in the city. But like even there were these kids that play the violin or the cello by the pier, and they are just incredible. So I have that photo, but I won't put them on here without their permission, just because, yeah, I one, I don't want to get in trouble by anybody. Two, they're also kids, so it's, while they are playing for the public, I don't want to do anything that their parents wouldn't want me to do. So we're just going to go ahead and keep that photo out of there. But yeah, no, if you are visiting San Francisco, I believe they're there like every Saturday during the farmers market, which is really cool. And they are so talented. Great personalities too, those girls. Sunflowers, the frame size. The ZFC I thought was a fantastic camera. The only thing I didn't like about it was I felt like the body itself. Like I have small hands, but the body itself, I felt like my fingers were dangling. I know that there are bottom grip attachments that someone had mentioned during the walkthrough video when I had actually mentioned that about the camera. So there are attachments that you can add. And I'm never a fan of a camera that doesn't allow you to just access video in any mode. You actually have to put it in video mode, but a lot of the Fuji film cameras are like that as well. So it's just something that I'm like, oh, okay, but I get it. But I also like the ease of being able to use it. But I'm also let's see, notice it didn't refocus there, which is interesting. You'll notice I'm a Sony shooter, so it's that I can do. Yeah, that's a little disappointing that the ZFC did not automatically refocus. It just kind of stayed focused up here, which is like fine. You'd think that it being a front focus, maybe I had it on the wrong setting. I'll give it the benefit there. Anywho, I hope all of you are doing well after the holiday season. We just got past Easter and everything. I do see some big moves and some big changes in my own life coming, so stay tuned for those. A lot of excitement, but I do plan on keeping YouTube up. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. It means the world to me. Peppers, tomato. Oh, that one's good the way it is. No reason to cut that. That's snapped there. Oh. There's also a lady that had her cat in a front backpack, almost like for a baby. And I took a picture of that too, but again, without anyone's permission, I don't want to post on a YouTube. Dog here. Doggy. Oh yeah, landscape Heather. Have you guys ever forgotten that when you're like taking a picture via portrait and then like you accidentally start recording portrait? Like I know I'm supposed to do landscape. Delete that, drag that over. Get the pupper's picture in there. Pigeon. Oh, that's some kind of bird. I don't know, maybe you guys will have to tell me what kind of bird that is. Frame size. And I don't expect a lot of people to tune in for the lives. You know, if you go back and kind of scroll through this later, awesome. If you happen to jump on while I'm on, feel free to ask any questions or anything like that. That would be cool. I'm gonna cut that right here because that was a little blurry out there. Video. And like I'll typically post a picture of somebody as long as I can't see their face, like this skateboarder. I think I'm gonna post this skateboarder because they were really cool. They were doing tricks by Pier 9, I think it was. I think it's Pier 9. They were pretty darn cool. I think this is a video of them recording. Stop that there. Perfect. So, while I still need to get stuff posted regularly, I will be working on that. So hopefully you'll start just seeing stuff streaming in. That is the hope. Post that one. Video here. This one's gonna be a good one, I think. This is gonna be one of my favorite. Just the samples, I think, because of all the video and like how the guy just kind of like walked into my frame. We're gonna cut him out though. There we go. That's one thing that they will have a slew of in San Francisco, especially. It's like every time I go, someone always photobombs my photo. And funny, like it's funny now, kind of. I'm still a little irritated by it, but it's even in the most inappropriate ways. So I was actually hired to do a sea scattering for someone's loved one for their ashes, and they do it on a boat, like right in view of the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's gorgeous. And they have a moment to say something and lay carnations out there, and it's a fantastic service that they do. However, this person was also part of the armed forces. I believe she was in the Navy, if I'm not mistaken. And while the officers are folding the American flag and doing, you know, the traditional handing over the flag and everything, it's a very quiet and very solemn moment. It's a moment of respect. At least I believe it is. And unfortunately, this joker of a tourist decided through all of my photos, every single one where they're folding the flag, he is giving like a goofy face, like playing right there in the background, and he's in the crowd that's looking. So it's not like I can just edit him out. And I was so mad. Gosh, like it wasn't even that I'm mad that he ruined my photos. It was just like just so disrespectful. It's like whenever somebody sees a camera, you have to photobomb. It just doesn't make any sense. That's my husband. I don't know if he'll want to be in it. Oh well, I'll take him out. But yeah, it's crazy. It says, especially in the city. I don't know what it is about people seeing others with a camera, but they're just like, I have to photobomb. Like, why is that necessary? I get it if it's like a fun sort of thing, like you jump in your friend's photo, whatever, but why you gotta ruin it for everybody else? Just doesn't. Have you guys ever had like important moments ruined because of somebody that decided to photobomb or just like outwardly be rude? I'd be interested to hear your own stories using your cameras, if that has ever happened to you. Let's post one. I'm gonna scale the frame size. There we go. What I love about doing these workshops is everything is, yeah, you can get these shots here, like right there on the pier where you just straight down, you're like, okay, I got my picture, let's leave. But that composition comes in when you can be really creative and find a moment like this where you can like really get down low and make it interesting by creating that perspective. It'd be even better if I got lower and like got somebody to lift the bench or whatever and really get the power inside the circles, but I'll take what I can get. That's the photo. Scale the frame size. There you go. What else do we got here? What's this one? Someone photographing. One. Perfect. Good the way it is. And we'll get that photo, scale to frame size. That one. That one. And that one. And in fact, I think for this walk, it was really cool. Someone actually joined us on this walk, and they flew in out from another state to do this walk with us, which was really, really cool. I love it when photography can really bring people together from all different, not just walks of life, but different locations too. Like, how cool is that? There's so much that we can share with each other. Like, photography is one of those mediums that you can easily share your eye, share your experience, give tips to others on how to accomplish certain things. Like, it's such a great community art to just share with others. At least if you're the sharing type. There have been a few people that I've met that are very, no, I won't tell you my things, or you know, you sometimes you'll have somebody that is like a diehard uh Nikon, Canon, Sony, whatever fan, and they'll kind of turn their nose up at the other uh manufacturers. But it's like, can you really fully appreciate photography if you don't fully appreciate all the different ways you can do photography? I'm just saying, like, you don't have to enjoy the other manufacturers, but you have to give them some respect, right? I mean, all these cameras are the same, just a different way of doing it, right? And I'm just really glad that I get the chance in my own profession to be able to find out the pros and cons myself for each camera, right? Because I mean, if there was one perfect camera, we wouldn't be here. Everything. When realistically, you know, it's not all that. You know, every camera has its pros and cons, and the key is knowing what is the best camera for yourself and what you want to do, right? And that I'm always happy to help with too. If you guys just have questions, like I'm not here to sell you on anything. I am here to help you find what works out for you, you know? So if you guys just have questions like, hey, what are your thoughts of this camera versus this camera? Or what lens should I get? What's your opinion? You know, it's, hey, I'm happy to help. Right, so I've kind of reached the end of my stuff here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this picture at the end of this clip. And I am going to let this picture be my last frame. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this photo, I'm going to scale it down just a little bit. We're going to use the position of moving it left or right and up and down. We're gonna move it over here on the right hand side. We're gonna move it just a bit, kind of corner it over here. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Get it right where I want it to be. Perfect. We're going to end up putting our text here, as well as the settings. Maybe I'll make that a little. I want to be able to put the metadata, the settings for that image. Great. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our text on all of this. So I'm going to kind of shrink this down so I can, a long clip. What that's going to be, okay, so it's going to be like not even 4.5 minutes. It's actually not bad for just a samples video, if you ask me. Again, it's like, it's one of those things where it's just kind of like, it's nice and relaxing to just kind of play back and look at the pictures. Okay, so we're going to make that a little bit bigger. So on the first photo, what I like to do to make things easier for me is I will go across the bottom here, make my text box, and for these, all my metadata is stored on Lightroom where I have these images. So I'm going to bring up Lightroom, ZFC pictures, which I may or may not still have on here. I may not. So, oh wait, do I? Is this it? No, that's not it. It's gotta be here somewhere. If you haven't guessed, I've taken a ton of sample photos just for YouTube, but you know what? It's gotten me out. It's a great way for me to force myself to, you know, get out of the house and go and do these things, take pictures and all of that, have new experiences, and so no shame in that for me. It does look like I may have downsized on my Lightroom to make more room for more pictures, but I should be able to go to that photo there, right click, properties, right? I took that photo back in 2021, apparently. And details. There is our metadata. Perfect. So now we're just gonna go ahead and put that in. Oop, come back. Let's put you over here so I can see. There we go. So I like to put ISO first, which that ISO was at 200. It was at 1/640th of a second at f13 slash there. And that was at 22 millimeters recorded for the metadata. Oh, what happened there? Let's go downsize on text a bit. Go. Let's go F13 and 22 millimeters. Oh, I like to put 2 spaces in between so they don't get so flooded together. There we go. Go ahead, make that a little bit bigger once again, now that we have all of our information. Perfect. So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to stretch this all the way across. I don't like to say that it's lazy, I like to say that it's proactive. That way it's in the same spot for every photo, but the settings can change. So I'm going to go ahead, make sure that I am cutting it accordingly to be the same cuts where videos and photos end. That because I'm going to delete it over all the videos because, you know, I only post it with the photos themselves. Also, I feel like such a novice, maybe I'm not the only one, but I just found out when exploring Lightroom that you can edit videos in Lightroom. That is news to me. Like, I don't know if that'll be as mind-blowing to anyone else, but I thought that was pretty darn cool, and I'm gonna have to give that a shot for any like color corrections or just general exposure, because there are some times where I didn't have enough light or something like that. So I'm deleting all those clips through the videos. Oops. Control Z is my best friend. Delete those. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna kind of zoom in here. And while I'm going through this, I'm actually going to add my video transitions. So I like to have a little bit of fun with my video transitions, especially on like just the samples, because you're just watching a slideshow basically. So I like to use like the immersive video. I just kind of like to go down the list. I don't really have a rhyme or reason. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to finish that one there. So let's see how that transition is. Oh, that looks good. That looks good, but that needs to be reanalyzed since I put a transition on it. So it has to reanalyze the stabilization that I put on that clip. Down to the VR gradient wipe. Do that. Perfect.